Imagine this. The world is on fire, literally. Forests are burning, oceans are rising, and innocent lives are being destroyed in floods, droughts, and storms. But hidden behind all this devastation is something far more sinister, something that most people never see. What if I told you that some of the world's most powerful corporations, oil and gas giants, knew the devastating effects of fossil fuels on our planet over 40 years ago, and they chose to lie? This isn't a conspiracy. This isn't a theory. This is truth, buried beneath decades of manipulation, exposed only now when it's almost too late. Back in the late 1970s and early 80s, scientists working inside oil companies like ExxonMobil discovered through their own internal research that burning fossil fuels would heat up the planet, melt ice caps, and cause sea levels to rise. Their predictions weren't vague. They were frighteningly accurate. These companies had the knowledge, the data, the science, and instead of sharing it with the world to help humanity prepare, they did the unthinkable. They buried the truth. Rather than raising alarms, they built a sophisticated web of lies, hiring public relations firms, launching misleading ad campaigns, and paying think tanks to challenge the very science they knew was real. They created confusion, deliberately, and the goal wasn't to find the truth, it was to delay action, delay regulation, delay responsibility, all to protect their profits. These oil giants learned from the tobacco industry, which denied that cigarettes cause cancer. One internal memo from a fossil fuel-funded campaign chillingly stated, "Victory will be achieved when the average citizen believes uncertainties in climate science still exist." That was the strategy. Keep the public confused, make climate change look like just a theory, and discredit any scientist who tried to speak the truth. Meanwhile, lobbyists were dispatched to Capitol Hill, fake experts filled news panels, and millions of dollars flowed into political campaigns to block environmental policies. While they manipulated the narrative, the planet suffered. Forests withered, oceans warmed, and weather patterns turned violent. And as the years passed, real people began to pay the price. This isn't just about ice melting at the poles. It's about a mother in the Philippines watching her home get swept away by a typhoon. It's about a young child in California inhaling ash and smoke from a wildfire. It's about farmers in Africa praying for rain that may never come again. While fossil fuel CEOs sat in climate-controlled boardrooms, families around the world were left gasping for breath, both literally and figuratively. And even today, as we stand on the brink of irreversible climate breakdown, these companies still fight to protect their version of reality. But the truth is leaking. Whistleblowers have stepped forward. Documents have been leaked. Lawsuits are being filed. In courtrooms from New York to California, states are suing oil companies for knowingly misleading the public and putting millions of lives at risk. Some executives have even admitted, yes, they knew. Yes, they chose to deceive. And still, these companies spend billions spreading disinformation online, disguised as news articles, social media posts, and influencers parroting industry lines. They want you to think the climate crisis is your fault, that if you just recycle more or drive less, the planet will be okay. But the truth? Just 100 companies are responsible for over 70% of global greenhouse gas emissions. This isn't about individual blame. It's about systemic deception. And still, they want you to feel powerless. But you're not. The very fact that you're watching this proves it. We live in a time where truth is a weapon. When they tell you the science isn't settled, when they say we can't afford clean energy, when they claim oil is our only option, remember they've said it before, and they lied. But we're not helpless. We have voices, and those voices are getting louder. We can demand cleaner energy. We can vote for leaders who prioritize the planet. We can support climate journalists, activists, and scientists who are speaking out, often at great personal risk. We can call out the lies every time they appear, and we can choose not to look away, because the more people know, the harder it becomes to deceive. So ask yourself this: what will you do with this truth? You've seen the evidence. You've heard the facts. You know what they've done. Will you stay silent, or will you speak up? Because silence is what they count on. But awareness? That's their worst fear. If we come together, if we share this message, If we open just one more person's eyes, then maybe, just maybe, we can shift the course of history, and one day we'll be able to say, they lied, we fought back, and we saved what mattered most. If this video opened your eyes even a little, then please do one simple thing, like subscribe and share this with someone who needs to know the truth. Because the more we expose them, the less they can hide.